Do you think there's a market crash coming along? Well, stay tuned, and we're going to go over what's going on in the market in Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson. Hi, my name is Eric Hudson, and if you haven't met me before, I'm a real estate agent here in Las Vegas, which includes Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson. And every week I put out more and more content about what's going on in the market and what's going on around town to help you in your buying and selling decisions. If you ever need any help, all of my information is below, so call, text, email, send a carrier pigeon, whatever you have to do to reach out to me so I can help you. So I know one of the big questions on your mind right now is what's happening in the housing market? Is it about to crash? Well, let me tell you something. About 2 weeks ago, for some odd reason, bam, housing market hit a wall. I just mean a wall where we're not seeing the type of offers we were. Housing market is slowing down, especially for this time of year when it's supposed to be the busiest. Okay, let's start getting into the numbers right now to see where the housing market stands. So right now we're doing the June housing market report, which includes numbers through the end of May 2022. So let's see what happened. In all of March, all homes sold here in the Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson area was a total of 3,425. Now, let's compare that to the actives right now. So right now, we have 4,380 homes available. That includes single family, condos, and townhomes, along with mobile homes. I did not break mobile homes out because fewer people are interested in those. So let's compare the solds against last month. So last month, a total of 3,778 units sold, compared to the 3,425 for this month, or end of May. So as you see, home sales in total are starting to come down. What's amazing about this number are the number that's actually available. If you compare it to the end of April statistics, which showed a total of 2,949 available units, we now have 4,380 units, which means the number of houses now exceeds the demand. So the market is starting to shift. Now we're at about a month and a half inventory overall, whereas we came from about half a month of inventory. Now, traditionally during the summer, more people do list their homes, but we have more interest in those homes. So this is actually pointing towards a shifting of the market, going towards a more balanced market. A market like we had maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where it was still a seller's market, but the buyer had some choices. Some of the things I've seen over the last couple of weeks is a shift in the market where before, especially over the last year, it was near impossible to get closing costs. Now, you can actually go and get closing costs. So you can actually get some concessions now that you could not have gotten just a month ago. Now to that all-important housing market everyone wants to know about, the single-family house. For the single-family house, the average closing price was approximately $581,000. To be exact, $580,970 for Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson. So when you compare that against last month's numbers were $586,108. So the average sales price actually went down for the first time in almost a year. But what is interesting is the average sales price was actually higher than the average list price of those homes. The average list price was $576,577. Now let's talk about the median price. And that's actually the most important one. So the median price of homes was $482,000, according to my little computer here. When you compare that against last month, the median price was $475,000, which means even with math in public, the median price went up $7,000. Now, median is considered a more accurate estimate of housing prices than the average because you can have some pretty high home sales in there, which can really drag the market. For example, we had a home sale last month of $14,600,000. that really drags on the market, and it actually affects a lot of things. So those of you who don't know, some of the priciest homes in the country are located here in Las Vegas. You have places like the Ridges with multi-million-dollar homes, and then there's a new place that they're building that's only meant for billionaires. So that does have an effect on the market. Now, something that's really interesting that blows my mind, and I have no idea what's going on because there must be some several million-dollar homes out there. The average price of a listed home right now, active home, is $930,629. Makes no sense. Although it does make sense that there was a house that was listed that's currently on the market for $32 million. That's right, $32 million. I don't know, that should not have driven up the median price, but according to the computer, the median price is $580,000, and I would really like to see that. So maybe some multimillionaires are starting to list their houses and everything, and it's just really throwing the market off. Just so you know, the least expensive house in the Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson area is currently $155,000. Okay, now on to condos. So for the last month, ending in May, the average closed price was $262,625. Compare that to the median of $250,000. Now, it's a little bit more difficult to compare that to the numbers that the board puts out, purely because they combine condos and townhomes. So let's look at what's active for the condo right now. So condos are having an interesting market, just like the single family houses are, because the list price is way up. The average list price is $318,433. Well, what's going on there? There's currently a $13.5 million condo being listed. I'm assuming it's on the Strip in the penthouse or something like that. And that median is $255,000, which is in line with the median that we're seeing right now for the actual sold homes. So when it comes to the townhomes, 319 of those sold for an average price of $366,593. And of course, that's been driven a little bit by a $2.2 million sale. Now, let's compare that to what's actually on the market right now. On the market right now, we have 338 condos, which means we have more on market than actually sold last month, which is a new trend. So the average price was $395,277. Compare that to the median of $373,450. Now, you're asking the question, are we headed to a bubble? Is it going to pop right now? Well, let's look at some numbers. So we start looking at historical data. Let's just break it down. For the single family house, in January, there were 3,490 houses available. Now, let's go back to the height of the market. When I say height, over the last 5 years, the highest number available. That would have been July of 2019, when there were 9,715 homes available. Wow. So what was the median price back then? $302,500. You can see there's a huge difference there. So over 2 years, the median price of a home has gone up $173,000, approximately. I'm not going to do the full math in public. So let's go to the condo. In January, there were 461 available. At its very height, which again was July 2019, for condos, there were 1,612 condos available, with a median price of $155,000. So compare that to the current number of listings. There were 507 active right now. So as you can see, we've actually gone up by almost 50 condo units that are available. And last is not least, the first shall be last and the last shall be first, townhomes. Back in January, there were 321 townhomes available. Compare that to the top of the market in the last 5 years for townhomes, which was May 2020. The median price back then, $223,450, compared to the current median price of $358,000. So the average townhome owner realized almost $160,000 in profit. Now, what do these numbers tell us? Well, it tells us that the market, although slowing down, there's very little chance here in Las Vegas. There are some pockets of the country that are starting to see a little bit of pullback, but they don't have the inventory issues that we have. So don't expect to buy a house for $200,000 by the end of next year. It's just not going to happen, because at the height of the last great housing boom, there were 22,000 housing units on the market, and we had a population that was almost 500,000 less. So there is greater demand now, along with a new diversification in the jobs here in the Las Vegas area. What is happening is that now, because of certain changes, including, and most importantly, the interest rate changes in inflation. You know, inflation's at 8.5% now and may hit 10%. People have less money in their pockets to purchase a home, which is pushing down demand. Remember, economics is supply and demand. The supply of houses, even though increasing, is nowhere near where it was just 2 years ago. 2 years ago, people were talking about a bubble and saying they were just waiting for it to crack, and they were just sitting on the wall like Humpty Dumpty. Well, 2 years later, some of them have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in value. You cannot sit on the wall on this one. But here's what's happening. Prices are not going to skyrocket anymore. As you see, it only went up a few $1,000s this month. Guess what? I predict it'll go up very little, if any, over the month of June, because fewer people have money. Some of the things that are still driving this is we still have cash buyers out there who are willing to pay whatever to get their hands on a house, and they don't care. But at some point, we're going to run out of people from California. Now, with those cash buyers, there is an interesting little statistic. For the past year, more than 30% have been purchasing the homes. Last month, it dipped down to 28%. So cash buyers are even starting to pull back a little bit. But with nearly 30% of our market being cash buyers compared to the rest of the nation, it's actually boring prices right now. I don't see prices coming down much anytime soon. Now, what does this mean as a buyer? As a buyer, this is your lucky day. Remember just 3 months ago when every house had 20 and 30 offers on it? Well, guess what? Houses don't have 20 and 30 offers anymore. We are in a good time for a buyer to finally get in and not have to overbid other folks. You can get in for list price and probably even less, because the seller, without all of these people bidding on their house, has a little, not much, but a little less power. Now, as a seller, what does this mean for you? When your neighbor sold their house for $50,000 over and you rejoiced and then said, well, my house is better than that, and you wanted to list it for that $50,000 over plus another 20, and you're expecting another 50 over, that's gone. That's gone. Last week, compared to the new homes that came on the market, 50% were price reductions. So in other words, houses that came on the market, let's say there were 1,000 houses that came on the market, it was closer to 1,200. There were about 500 price reductions. That is very high. The reason that's happening is people are coming to the realization that no one is going to give them an inflated price, plus come out of their pockets another $50,000. If you want to get your house sold quickly for the most amount of money, you want to make sure that you price it right. Some of the other things you should think about is I have some of the best material out there going over the housing market, what's happening here in Las Vegas. And if I've brought a little bit of value to you, consider subscribing. Also, I have a bevy of videos for you to watch that's going to help you in your house search or selling your home, or to learn a little bit more about Las Vegas.